Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if you want to come to the aid of the little guy, you will vote against this amendment. If you want to come to the aid of Minnesotans, you will vote against this amendment. If you want to come to the aid of people regardless of their class or their wealth or their talents or any other aspect of that person, then you're going to vote against this amendment. Because, members, what Representative Atkins is trying to do here is paint all businesses in Minnesota as bad actors. He would have you think that the only people that care about consumer rights in our state are consumer rights advocates. In fact, that is not true. To be a successful businessman, to be a successful businesswoman, to be a successful business, to run a successful business, you need to treat your customers and consumers with respect. You need to treat them well. Everyone knows this. There are a few bad apples among businesses, yes. And when there are bad apples that do bad things to consumers or other businesses, that's when lawsuits are in order and liability falls on the bad actor. What this bill does is it decreases the cost of unnecessary litigation due to class certification orders that may not have been properly decided. Decreasing the cost of litigation is good for business, it's good for job creators, it's good for Minnesotans, it's good for little guys. It's good for a guy who might have an idea. He might make minimum wage. He might be a server at a restaurant. She might be working in a mine. Then she has an idea about how better to process iron ore or how better to serve some kind of food. And she goes to find capital. Well, members, this bill, provided you don't accept this amendment, this bill allows those potential entrepreneurs to find that capital. It allows opportunity by freeing up money, by taking money out of litigation where it's unnecessarily spent, and freeing up, putting in the capital markets, investment, frees it up so that more people can pursue their dreams. The little guy, the little woman can pursue their dreams, build their families, and build a better Minnesota. Please do not vote for this amendment. To address some of the specific comments of Representative Simon, he talked about the difficulty and complexity of certification decisions. That's correct, Representative Simon. The certification order and the factors of typicality, numerosity that you need to go through to get to a certification decision, it's very complex. In fact, the complexity of the process and the thinking that the judge needs to put into coming to the decision on whether the class certification order the class should be certified or not is exactly what we're concerned about here. Its complexity is the kind of thing that justifies review by the Court of Appeals just to check that it was done right. Review by a panel of 3 judges at the Court of Appeals as opposed to just the single district court judge who, because the courts are probably not properly funded, may be overworked. Now, we are giving the district courts, of course, an increase in funding because we believe that the courts are a core and central function of government, and we need to focus our resources on central core functions of government like the courts. But this allows the Court of Appeals to review as a matter of right that decision just to check that this very complex, very difficult decision was made correctly. And because it's so complex and difficult a decision, oftentimes these lawsuits rise or fall on that certification order. If it was made incorrectly, a business is faced with unknown and very difficult to predict, at least, liability and jury trial. We can cut that off, save good businesses unnecessary costs, open up capital for entrepreneurs and the little guy or little woman. Secondly, Representative Simon made reference to discovery. The stay of discovery in Section 7 of Senate File 149 is automatic, but if you read there, upon a motion of a party to the district court for good cause shown, that stay may be lifted. So, and as Representative Simon and all the attorneys in the room know, and probably a lot of other people too, destroying evidence, destroying documents is sanctionable in court. If you start doing that, one of the sanctions is you lose the lawsuit, regardless of anything else. The court can just decide, you know what, there is evidence that you've been destroying relevant evidence, and we're going to sanction that, you lose. So it's not typical for businesses to do that. If there's any indication that anything like that is going on, a motion can be brought to the district court, and the stay can be lifted, discovery can continue. So So that point doesn't hold any water either. Minnesotans for Lawsuit Reform is a group of businesses representing all sorts of employers across the state who employ all sorts of good people who may someday themselves become employers because they market a great idea that they have, and that's what America is all about. So members, please vote against this amendment.